the Sangha and the dispensation strongly in this world, because of which 2,600 years have passed. And look at the fortune we have, that we can get the Dharma even today. It is because they have worked. It is because they have put the foundation. And they made the whole system to roll on and on without interruption. So these are called the Theras. Thera means the elderly monks or the disciples, the early disciples. Thera. So Theravada, the earliest form of Buddhism is called Theravada, means the teachings of these Theras. So after the Buddha passed away, they got together, they recited the entire Tripitaka, which is kept here in the form of books, means the teachings of the Buddha. Because some people started saying, oh, this was Buddha's teaching, this is not Buddha's teaching. So these Theras decided, well, we have heard directly from Lord Buddha himself, and we will recite and formalize that this is the teachings of the Buddha. So they recited part by part, all the enlightened 500 disciples, part by part, and every part was approved by all the 500 who had the great wisdom, special wisdom called Patisambhida Jnana, which means they know word by word entire teaching of the Buddha and also the meaning of that. So they were able to recite, and they said, well, this is the Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, and Abhidharma Pitaka, the three parts of Buddha's teachings. So the credit goes to these earliest disciples, led by Venerable Mahakassapa Thera. So let me just go through quickly. I will tell why these are great disciples. No, it is not my opinion, but Lord Buddha's announcement, appreciation of his own disciples. And this is from the Tripitaka in Anguttara Nikaya. There is a whole section called Etada Gavaga. That means supreme in this special quality. That is the whole portion there. There was Venerable Bhaddiya, who hailed from very, very eminent family. There was Lakuntaka Bhaddiya, who had very sweet voice. So he used to teach, and when he taught, it was such a sweet voice, people just liked it. So the Lord Buddha gave that credit to him, and it didn't come on its own. He wished for that, and with that he could influence innumerable beings. So sweet voice, he was top. Pindola Bharadwaja, for his lion's roar. When he taught, it was like lion's roar. Lord Buddha's teachings, when Lord Buddha taught, he gave teachings like lion's roar. Lion's roar means without any fear. When a lion roars in a forest, it is like it announces to the whole forest. Very powerful. No fear, no reservation. And Buddha's teaching is called Sihanada, lion's roar, because he taught the truth. So where is the fear? Where is the hesitation? Every word that the Supreme Buddha taught, is verifiable. So because it is verifiable, through experience, every word you can experience and verify. That's why he was teaching like lion. And later on, Emperor Ashoka, who was greatest benefactor of Buddha's teachings, Buddha Dharma, who spread all over India and the West and the East, everywhere. He erected these pillars and lion symbols because Lord Buddha was teaching, and his wish was, may the teachings of the Buddha spread in all directions like lion's roar. So that we see. So this Pindula Bharadwaja. Now all these qualities, Lord Buddha was the top, no question about that. Apart from the Buddha, next, these are next, apart from the Buddha, these qualities. And then there was Venerable Punna Mantani Putta. Lord Buddha told he is the highest, greatest in speaking on Dhamma. Mahakachana, another great venerable monk, who Lord Buddha said, explaining the meaning in detail. And then there is Chullapanthaka, the greatest venerable monk who was having this power of creating mind-made bodies. Chullapanthaka was a monk, and he was, because of one of his past karmas, he was blocked. And he used to study the teachings. His brother was also a monk, an enlightened monk, and he used to teach him one verse. But this Chullapanthaka, when they was not able to learn even one sentence. When he learned the first sentence and then the second, then already he would forget the first. When he learned the third, he would forget the second. He tried and tried, it was some kind of blockage because of some past karmic result. And then he felt he was dejected. He said, oh, now I will just give up my robes. I'll go back and live as an ordinary householder. And as he was going, Lord Buddha was at the gate. And he stops him and asks, what's the matter? You look so gloomy. And he says, oh, I am so unfit to learn Dhamma. I can't memorize even one sentence, so how can I progress? Then the Buddha, out of all compassion, he said, okay, don't worry. He gave a piece of white cloth and he said, you keep on rubbing it. And just say two words, Rajo Haran, means may the dirt go away. Rajo Haran, may the dirt go away. That's all. Can you remember these two words, Rajo Haran? He said, yes, that I can do. Then Buddha said, go. And he started doing that. Rubbing, Rajo Haran, Rajo Haran, Rajo Haran. As he was doing that, it got dirty. It started becoming black. And as he saw it, that white cloth changing, he started realizing, oh, change, impermanence. Then his mind became calm. Then he contemplated on himself, his body, his mind. Everything became clear and he became enlightened Arahant. Not only just enlightened Arahant, but with this power of the mind which was able to create mind-made bodies. And while he was doing this, there was an invitation, and Buddha and his disciples, all they went there for lunch. But one seat was empty. And they looked around and he was not there. The Buddha said, okay, go to monastery and call him. And somebody went there, and for his surprise, he saw 1,000 monks. Now all looking similar, same. And this man was afraid. Oh, what am I seeing? 1,000 monks doing cleaning and this and that, and walking, meditation, sitting. They look all similar. Who is now Chula Pantaka? He ran back and he said, oh, I saw 1,000 of them. I am afraid to go. Then the Buddha said, don't be afraid. Just go, and whomever you meet first, request that venerable monk that tell him to come for lunch. So again that man goes, and he meets the first one and requests. And then all the 1,000 vanish and only one remains, and he comes back. And after the lunch, it is a custom to give discourse. So Lord Buddha asks Venerable Chula Pantaka to give the discourse. Now every other, they didn't know what has happened meanwhile, this transformation. So they thought, oh well, Chula Pantaka, who can't even memorize one sentence, now Lord Buddha has asked him to give a discourse. So they thought, oh, now it is finished. But now he is not only enlightened Arahant, but enlightened Arahant with Patisambhida Jnana. I told you, one who knows all the teachings of the Buddha with the meaning. And now Chula Pantaka gave such a wonderful discourse, explaining in detail that everyone was just surprised and so delighted. So then the Buddha explained what has happened with him. So that was Chula Pantaka. Then Buddha gave him also this title. He is very powerful in making the mind-made bodies. That is also one of the powers of the mind. Then Mahapantaka, his brother, who was greatest in transforming the perceptions of the people. Then there was Venerable Subhuti, who lived without any conflict in his life. There was not one conflict with anybody, any problem. What a kind of person. Such a harmonious person who did not create anything, any problem. And then there was Venerable Revata, who was greatest among forest dwellers. Then there was Kanka Revata, greatest of meditators. And there was Sona, Venerable Sona, who was greatest among putting energy. He was actually Prince of Kashmir, and he became monk. And it is said he was so delicate that there were hairs on his feet. That means he did not even step properly from childhood, I think. He was so delicate. And now he becomes a monk. And when he was taught walking meditation, he said, I will practice and attain something. So he practiced whole day and night, so much so that his feet started bleeding. And after that he said, oh no, it is so horrible. I'm bleeding, but nothing is happening in my mind. And then he says, oh, this is no good. I will go back to lay life. And then he comes to the Buddha. No, the Buddha goes to him. And then the Buddha tells, look, Sona, you have been putting too much effort. That is not middle path. And by the way, as a prince, he was good in playing a kind of veena, which is a kind of guitar. He asked, you know how you play this instrument? He said, yes. Then Buddha asked, if you loosen the strings, do you get melodious sound? He said, no, Bhante. If you tighten too much the strings, can you get this melodious sound? He said, no, Bhante. Then what do? He said, I used to tighten as much as needed. Then the Buddha said, exactly in the same way, you should practice. Not putting so much of effort that you are bleeding now. So you should walk the middle path. And as he said, then he practiced and became enlightened. But anyway, Lord Buddha gave him the title that he is the highest among one who puts the effort. Like that, then there was Sivali Bhante, who was so full of merit that he got lot of dana. Wherever he goes, dana. If he is with 100 monks or 500 monks or 1,000 monks or 10,000 monks, if he is there, all of them will get enough of food and dwelling and everything. So much of merit he had. So Lord Buddha announced he is greatest among getting dana. Vakkali, he is for faith. Rahula, for desire for training. Venerable Rattaphala, going forth out of faith. And then Vangisa, another wonderful monk who was, Buddha said, he is expert in composing the verses. So whenever he opens his mouth, beautiful verses will flow and people hear and they understood the Dhamma. Then Upasena Bhante was there, who was able to inspire and develop confidence among people. And there was Dabba Mallaputta Bhante, who was hospitality manager. Excellent hospitality manager, highest. So he used to allot the places and take care of the monks. And then there was Kumara Kassapa, who was giving different kinds of examples in his teachings. Mahakotita, analytical knowledge, and Venerable Ananda, the personal attendant of the Buddha. Lord Buddha gave him 5 degrees, not just one. He was the most learned, he remembered all, and he was very good in memory. He was very good in grasping quickly. He was resolute in his determination, and he was great among the personal attendants. And like that, Urvela Kassapa, Kaludai, Bakula, Venerable Bakula, he lived for 80 years. And he said, oh, I don't remember that even once I have coughed. That means he didn't experience any disease. So we remember him and worship and invoke his blessings and power for good health. And then there is Venerable Sovita and Venerable Upali, upholder of the Vinaya, Nandaka, good in dealing with bhikkhus. And then there is Sagata, expert with the fire element. Radha, receiving discourses. Mogaraja, wearing coarse kind of robes. And but these are bhikkhus. Lord Buddha announced 47 disciples with these special titles, 47 of them, and then 13 bhikkhunis. I'll just read Mahapajapati Gotami as the senior most bhikkhuni, Venerable Khema and Venerable Uppalavanna. These two were chief disciples among bhikkhunis. Venerable Sariputta and Moggallana were chief disciples among bhikkhus, and Venerable Khema and Uppalavanna, these two great venerable nuns, were chief disciples. Venerable Khema was highest in wisdom, Venerable Uppalavanna was highest in psychic powers. And then there was Venerable Patachara, who was greatest among Vinaya, upholders, Patachara, who went through all kinds of tragedies. She lost husband and 2 children and mother and father, everybody. And she becomes enlightened Arhat, a wonderful nun and Vinaya master. Dhammadina, Venerable was great speaker of Dhamma. Nanda Bhikkhuni was great meditator. Venerable Sona was greatest in arousing energy. In Sona, among bhikkhus, and Sona among bhikkhunis. Similar names. Sakula was greatest among divine eye, like Venerable Anuruddha. And Baddha Kundala Kesa, she was expert in quickly attaining enlightenment. Baddha Kapilani Bhikkhuni was greatest among recollecting the past lives. Innumerable past lives she could recollect. And Baddha Kachana Bhikkhuni was greatest among attaining through direct knowledge. Kisa Gotami was greatest nun among wearing the very coarse robes made with coarse material, dyed in a coarse way. Kisa Gotami, a very rich woman, she lost her child and she became mad. Oh, I can't live without this child. She didn't even accept that child is dead. So she started carrying that and asking people, oh, give life to this child. Somebody directs her to go to the Buddha. And the Buddha tells her, okay, keep here. Can you go and get some mustard oil from some house? But in that house there should not be any death occurred. So she goes from house to house asking. People are ready to give any amount of this oil, but when she asked if anybody died, then they said, yes, somebody, this mother, father, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, somebody died. And after going few houses, she realized, oh, death is not just for my child. It is universal. And then she comes and asks for forgiveness from the Buddha and asks for going forth. And she becomes enlightened. Arant, looking at a lamp, how the fire is flicking and how this fire is coming and going, and then she contemplates on herself. She becomes Arant. Wonderful, wonderful bhikkhuni. And then there was Sigala Mata, resolved through faith. Let me tell few laymen. Tapusa and Bhallika, the first disciples, just near Bodhi tree, they met the Buddha for the first time, first people to meet, and it is these lay people who became disciples even before Venerable Kondanya. Anathapindika, the greatest benefactor and the donor, who donated in Savatthi this wonderful Jetavana, putting immense fortune. It is said 180 million gold coins he spent purchasing the land. Another 180 million he spent for putting up the buildings. And another 180 million he spent for inviting the monks and giving dana and dana and dana. That kind of, and thousands of monks and nuns and so many people benefited. There was Chitta, who was great Dhamma speaker among householders. Hattaka was expert in attracting people for Dhamma. Mahanama was very great in giving what is excellent, offering. Ugga was giving the things that were agreeable, and he did dana, he gave correct things to the correct monks and nuns. Uggata was very good in attending the Sangha, taking care of the monks. Surambattaka was very strong in faith. Jivaka was having such confidence, he was personal doctor of Lord Buddha and many monks and nuns. And Nakula Pita was greatest among the faithful couple, Nakula Pita and Nakula Mata. Both of them went to Buddha and said, "O Lord, since we saw each other, even in the thought, I have not thought about any other woman," he said. And that woman said, "I have not thought about any other man. We are so faithful to each other. Please bless us till we attain enlightenment. We should be together, supporting each other." So the Buddha told them, develop faith together, develop morality together, develop dana together, practice dana together, and develop wisdom together. And then you will be together till enlightenment. And then there were some wonderful lay women who did great service. Sujata, the first female follower. Visakha, the greatest donor, who built Pubbarama Monastery in Savatthi, again putting a lot of her fortune there. And each one of them, I tell you, if you find time, please read these life stories. They are so inspiring. Kujuttara was very learned laywoman. Samavati was full of metta, highest in having metta, loving kindness. Uttara Nandamata was great meditator, laywoman. Suppavasa was greatest in giving the excellent things. Supiya lady was greatest among attending the sick people. Katiyani was greatest in unshakable faith. Nakula Mata, I told you, Nakula Pita and Nakula Mata together, wonderful couple, greatest noble couple. And then there was a lady called Kali, who was greatest among listening the Dhamma. Now these titles, 80 of them I read now, not one or two. Lord Buddha gave 47 bhikkhus, 13 bhikkhunis, 10 laymen and 10 lay women. And these are called pre-eminent disciples during the time of the Buddha. Of course, there were so many others, but these are pre-eminent ones who were responsible for something greatest thing to happen. And this has continued teacher-disciple relationship. That has continued till our day. This Dharma has flown because Lord Buddha created the disciples. If he had not created, then nothing. And just imagine if the Buddha did not arise in this world, there is no source of real morality. There is no source of real development of the mind. And there is no source of wisdom and compassion. So it is the arising of the Buddha which has opened up the gate, the royal gate to enlightenment. And from there it started to disciples, and then to their disciples, and then to their disciples. It has spread to many parts of the world. It took different cultures, different languages. But the essence of Buddha's teachings, the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, the dependent origination, the three characteristics of impermanence, suffering, and selflessness, they have formed the basis of all traditions. And we are fortunate to get this wisdom even today. So may we use this opportunity as human beings with having this faculty of reasoning and understanding, intellect and good emotions. May we grow on this path of Dhamma. May we attain to this supreme state of enlightenment in this very life. And may we bring the Dharma in our hearts and in the world in a true way by practicing it. May all beings be free from sufferings. May all beings share the merits of whatever good we are doing. And may they get the Dharma, may they progress on the path of enlightenment, and may they be liberated. Bhavatu sabba mangalam, rakhantu sabba devata, sabba buddhanubhavena, sabba dhammanubhavena, sabba sanghanubhavena,